What is up, legends? I wanted to talk about with you guys here today something that came to mind for me today, and I've been heavily thinking about this, and it's regarding sales. Now, me having done sales calls for the last 2 years for my business, there's certain things that I've noticed, certain reoccurring patterns, and for the most part, they've happened, and I haven't really been aware of them until like getting proper sales training and listening to like other people who are way ahead of me, sales influencers, people like Grant Cardone, people like Joe Soto, which you might or might not have heard of. But it's the concept that all the reoccurring and dominant objections we're getting are the ones we brought to the table. Now, let me explain a little bit more about what this means. So, you might have noticed, and if you're already if you have a social media marketing agency or any business that requires sales, or you're a salesperson, you might have noticed that you get certain reoccurring objections, certain ones that maybe you get more than others, right? Maybe it's the I need to think about it. So you just get those all the time, or maybe the price issue, you just get those all the time, or maybe a mix of 2 or 3 of those. Now, what I've noticed in mine is that certain things, certain objections would come up for me, and Joe Soto, who is basically a sales expert who specializes in teaching agencies how to sell their services, he speaks more about this, and he talks about how every objection we have, most of the objections we have oftentimes are the ones that we brought to the table, and it's subconsciously being communicated to the prospect during the call, and it's very subtle how it's being communicated, but the prospect, oftentimes they're unconscious of it as well, but subconsciously they're receiving that you have a certain objection yourself about certain something. So what I mean is, maybe you need to think about it when you're on sales calls, or just in life in general. Maybe there's something that you're delaying in your life. Or maybe if you're hearing price objections, and maybe there's something that you're always trying to maybe get a discount on, or maybe you think things are too expensive. And so you're hearing that a lot on sales calls. And for me, when I first heard of this, it was a little bit triggering, but when I dug deeper, I realized that it was very true. Now, just to be open and transparent with you guys, in my own experience, one of the things that I did was delay. I delayed a lot. I need to think about it. I need to do this and that, and then this first needs to happen. If this happens, then that. Like all this stuff that was delaying results to happen. And so what I noticed is I would get a lot of people who were also delaying as well. They would this would happen quite often. Like, hey, no, wait, let's get back to me like at the end of next year, or like get back to me in 3 months, or whatever it might be, or like just now, right now is the good time. And so I started to notice that it triggered me, and it really brought up some negative emotions. And so that's a good thing, because it made me aware that the only reason I was triggered is because I saw that in myself. And so once I started changing that, I noticed that I was able to confront those objections much better, because I was able to confront those objections within myself. And so as I was able to confront it better with myself, I was able to help prospects confront that better in themselves. So as a result, it's not really as much of a problem as it was in the past. And the same thing goes with other objections as well. And so what I invite you to do is, if maybe you're noticing that there are certain objections you're getting that are reoccurring, and especially if they're triggering you, like they're causing negative emotions such as anger and all that kind of stuff, I would invite you to look within yourself and also help yourself, essentially close yourself, and you'll be able to better use this when in sales calls. And also, you might even find that you won't even have those objections, and if you do, you'll be able to confront them a lot better. So this is something that I find that no one really talks about, but it's something that I think can help a lot of people, and I think it's worth putting out there and having a conversation about, and raising the awareness on, so that just in general, people in the sales industry, anyone really selling their services are more aware, so that once you're more aware, you're able to now change it and create a positive result instead of negative result that keeps reoccurring. So let me know, maybe you guys have a certain, maybe now that I've mentioned this, you have now noticed like, hey, oh, like he's right, like in this instance, you know, I've been delaying here, or I've been having this objection that's been showing up as a result of this. I'd be really interested to know if you guys have had a similar experience. I've talked with others as well, and I've seen that they also have noticed this as well, especially when I bring it up, then they're able to recall and be like, yes, I have seen this in my experience. So I would really love to know some examples from your own sales calls, from your own experience, having been on sales calls. Like, has this come up for you, and which specifically? Let's start a conversation about this and have more people be more conscious of this. And you know, this, I think, ultimately helps not only us close more deals, but also grow as people and also help others grow. Because essentially what I've been noticing in my journey of sales is that the more I'm better at closing myself on doing certain things, and obviously I'm not perfect, but the better I become at influencing myself, closing myself on going after what I want, or doing the things that I know I must do but might not necessarily want to do, the better I am at helping others through their objections, through their limiting beliefs, through their delays and all that kind of stuff. And it's always a wave of certain things. Like, sometimes it's better, sometimes it's not, but it's always progressing upwards. So I'll leave you guys with this thought, this final thought, that the objections that we have within ourselves are being projected out to our prospects and are affecting the outcomes that we're seeing in our businesses. So I hope that was extremely helpful for you guys, if not a game changer for you guys. I'd love to know your feedback and also you guys' experience with this. For those of you who have been taking sales calls, who have been in the sales industry, I'd love to know what you guys have experienced. All right. If you guys have not yet subscribed already, I talk about sales, marketing, and personal branding, giving my own experience and helping others as well with what I know, and helping others in their journey of becoming the best version of themselves in their business and in their lives. All right. Thank you for joining me in this video.